Well, Happy New Year, everybody out there listening to me, the Midnight Skeptic. Yes, this is the Midnight Skeptic's first show of the new year, 2025. And I hope that Project 2025 is not fully implemented or even partially implemented by the orange sociopathic bloat bag who has about 17 more days until he is inaugurated in Washington, D.C. on January 20th of this year. Now, this rant will go out again on this Sunday, the 5th of January, as usual at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which actually is midnight out there on the East Coast. And I am on kpca.fm worldwide, and locally I'm at radio station 103.3 FM, broadcast out of Petaluma Community Access. And then as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to download it onto YouTube, which can also be seen worldwide. Now, here is my play-in music. You are listening to KPCA LP, Petaluma, California, at 103.3 FM and worldwide at www.kpca.fm. And this is the Midnight Skeptic. The views of the Midnight Skeptic are not, repeat, not necessarily the views of KPCA or any of its affiliates. Okay, I'm recording this on Friday, the 3rd of January, and it's right now about 4:30. And all of my, I call them my lefty propaganda shows on television, they're all being recorded, and I can watch them at my leisure and zip through the ones that start talking about the same things over and over and over again. In my own small way, I've said this over and over and over again, I hope to influence enough people and convert them to more lefty ideas and hopefully get rid, R-I-D, of all Republicans, conservatives, MAGA heads especially, Christian fundamentalists, Christian nationalists, and, well, maybe all Christians. I've said on other shows before that I am totally not religious, in fact, somewhat anti-religious. I really believe that all of the strife and wars and cruelty in this world are caused by religion. And the first religions go way, way, way back. I'm not talking about when the Bible was first transcribed or when the Torah was first transcribed back in, 2,000 or 3,000 BC, or before the current era, as is the preferred designation now. But way back in Anatolia, let's see, Göbekli Tekli is one civilization that built these huge stone worshiping altars And archaeologists don't know the true purpose of them now, but they were probably for worshiping something. The ones over in England are set up in such a way that you can see the shortest day and the longest day of the year through the slits in the openings between the stones. So that was early religion. And the first grifters, who were somewhat smarter than the rest of their tribal members, convinced them that they could talk to this sky daddy up there and would punish them if they didn't give part of their, efforts, the crops and animals to these self-professed religious leaders. And that tradition has gone on until today. Religions are run by grifters who enjoy all of the finery and raiment that they wore. I'm surprised at how elaborate and fine the priests of the Eastern Orthodox Church, and they're not the only ones. The Catholic Church has their ridiculous garments and raiments, and I'm sure that if there was a God up in the sky, Sky Daddy, he's probably not saying to himself or to anybody, "Boy, that's how I want to be worshipped," with priests and the Pope with the little things on their heads. And I would. It's not going to happen. I'm sure of that. But religion, no matter how many doubters are converted to be doubters, and I'm not saying necessarily atheists or agnostics. Those two terms have been slapped on non-believers by believers, and those two terms carry with it a lot of baggage. And believers in the Christian or Jewish or Muslim or Hindu faiths would have people believe that atheists and agnostics are these evil people that are just non-believers. Well, I'm a non-believer. I don't like labeling myself as an atheist because of the baggage that it does carry around with it. I am a non-believer in any religious tenet. I believe in the process of science, and I've been accused of scientism when I've had, polite discussions and arguments with Christians, and I say that science is the only way to discover the truths of the universe, how things work, how life came to be. And they say, "You believe in scientism." And I say, no. Scientism was another term created by believers in religious dogma to say that scientists believe that they have the only truth, or they're just a list of facts that haven't been all proven. Well, science is a process for finding universal truths. They don't have a list of unassailable truths. If another scientist comes up with another theory for, say, gravity, for instance, he can write it up and submit it to a scientific journal where it will be peer-reviewed and accepted or not. science is, in fact, changeable and adjustable and can be brought up to date. I guess I'm searching for words here to describe the process. But religion cannot be any of those things. They have holy books and the word of their priests or pastors that claim that they talk to God. A good example is Joel Osteen, who is the king of the grifters in this country. The Bible is unchangeable, according to him and other Christians. And, okay, boy, that was a lot of a rant before I've done my shout-outs, which I'm going to do right now after I take a sip of water with a splash of lime juice in it. Get my vitamin C that way. I also take a vitamin C supplement and other supplements as directed by my doctors. Okay. And I am a member of the Kaiser Permanente Health Plan, which is an HMO, health maintenance organization. And those who believe in alternative and complementary medicine always say that doctors just treat symptoms. They don't treat the underlying causes. Well, most competent doctors, and all the ones that I've run across in the Kaiser system, ask you questions when you go in to see them about your diet, about your lifestyle, whether you're safe at home. That's a standard question. And they take into consideration how much exercise you're getting and personal relationships. They do figure that sort of thing into their diagnosis about what is wrong with you, why you came in there to see a doctor in the first place. They are, dare I say, holistic doctors, and not like naturopathic doctors or homeopathic doctors who are, in my mind, just quacks. All right, enough of that. I don't want to get off on that subject. I will go into all of that in an upcoming show. But now it's time to give a shout out to the people and organizations, some of them, that have indicated to me that occasionally, not all the time, but occasionally, they listen into the Midnight Skeptic. First, I will always lead off with Project Censored, because I think it's as valuable, I don't know, what you call it, an organization, a group of people that try to inspire confidence, whether it's deserved or not, in our mainstream media. And I don't know. But anyway, Project Censored. Mickey Huff, he's now at Ithaca College back in upstate New York. And he didn't start it, but he took over the running of it when he was out here and was a professor at Diablo Valley College over in the East Bay. He's a professor of communications, journalism, and I don't think he taught history at Diablo Valley College. But anyway, he's back there, back east, and also Sheila Voidal. Okay, now I'm going to have to spell this. She is back at Ithaca College, too, and was mentioned in the last newsletter, which just came out in the first part of December, as a worker at, I don't know, a journalist, really. Worker doesn't give her enough credit, but ShealeighCollege capital Voitl. Shiali Voitl. The first name sounds Irish to me. Voitl, I don't know. Don't know where that comes from. But anyway, she, I think, probably is a professor back at Ithaca as well. Andy Lee Roth, who is a history professor at UC Santa Cruz. And then Nolan Higdon, who's a professor down at Cal State East Bay. I'm not absolutely certain that he has anything to do with Project Censored anymore, but they're out now with their book that they publish once a year, The State of the Free Press 2025. And go on their website and sign up for their online newspaper. It's not a newspaper, it's a news bulletin. I'm searching for the right word for that. It's an online publication that tells you what's going on with Project Censored, and newsletter. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Okay, that's them. Okay, John Crowley at the Aquas Cafe. It's here in Petaluma on 2nd and H Streets. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Very light fare, but very good. They have an outdoor wraparound patio where you can sit and, well, not during this rainy weather, but there's umbrellas, and you can sit and discuss the meaning of life with a bunch of interesting people that also hang out there. And he sponsors ethnic dinners, Italian, Greek, French, and they will. I don't know whether these dinners that he hosts are bring your own food. Probably are, because I don't think their cooks at the Aquas Cafe can cook French cuisine, or for that matter, Italian cuisine. It's probably a bring your own dinner. But they host musical events on the weekends, poetry readings. Novelists come there to present their books to a potential public. And twice a year, they sponsor drinks with shrinks. And I've attended a couple of those and had some very nice conversations with some very interesting people there. I am not a shrink. I was a private tutor for 35 years here in Petaluma. That wasn't my full-time job. I did have another job during the day for paycheck and benefits. And in the afternoons, I would come home. My late wife, who passed away in 2013, started the tutoring business. And as the kids got older and went to high school and middle school, I helped her out with, algebra and chemistry and things like that. And she passed away in 2013, and I liked doing that so well that I kept it up. And I have a master's degree in clinical psychology before I met my wife in 1979 from John F. Kennedy University, and they were located over in Pleasant Hill, California. It's across the East Bay. And I think they had or still have a campus down in the LA area. But I was there for 2 years and a few months. And my opinion of their teaching methods and some of their ideas were a bit weird for my tastes. I stuck it out. As an example, they had a separate whole department for paranormal studies. I mean, like, you know, mind reading, psychic abilities, afterlife things. I'm not going to go into that. I will go into what they were like in an upcoming show. Anyway, Tom Gaffey at the Phoenix Theater, who is sort of a hands-on godfather to a lot of the alternative teens here in Petaluma. Ralph Scott, who is an audiobook entrepreneur. He has a stable of voice thespians that he hires for various parts in various novels or short books that he is putting onto audiobooks. Okay, Dr. David Rubin. He lives out on the East Coast, and I'll fill you in a little bit on that. But he is the world's greatest pulmonary physician. And he and I roomed together in 1977, 78, a little bit into 79. But he got married and moved out. And 2/3 of his time up at UC San Francisco Medical Center was spent researching lung diseases and endothelial cells and what type of enzymes they secreted. Well, he eventually retired from that, moved back to Chicago with his wife, Marilyn, and then retired from that and went to work for GlaxoSmithKline, the drug company in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, and helped set up clinical trials for them to see if their new drugs worked or if the side effects were worse than whatever they're trying to heal. And let me just tell you that all drugs have side effects. Some bad, which shouldn't be out on the market, and others, the side effects are not that great, and the disease or condition that they're trying to cure can be cured by those drugs. Well, this is what he did for GSK, and he retired from them, and now he's pursuing his dream, which is artistic endeavors, painting and found objects. I don't know what you call them, but installations, I guess. But anyway, I urge you to do this. Go to davidrubinpaintings.com and check him out. He has a very, let's just say, unique and rather bizarre take on reality, which comes through in his paintings. Okay. Amelia Beamer. I keep forgetting to include her in the services part of this. But anyway, she's an editor, and she's a novelist, and she helps budding novelists, which I am one, with their writing skills. And she gives advice, and she lives on the east coast of Florida now. I forget, I don't have it in my notes, what town she lives in. It's one of the beach communities on the upper east side of Florida. Anyway, okay, let's get back to the other shout-outs. Okay, and these are all the acquaintances and relatives and friends who have indicated to me that they listen in every now and then. Okay, Dave and Rosie Takach, Kevin and Lori Burke, Rich and Kathy Berger over in Sebastopol. They're getting a lot of rain right now. It's kind of stopped here in Petaluma. And back in Petaluma here, Tim Conrad, great photographer. He was in my class up in Sonora, high school class. Art Kuznets, which reminds me, and Rob Tomaszewski. He's the station manager of KPCA LP.FM. And he started this 7 years ago at Petaluma Community Access. And I've gone into that story a number of times. I'll just give him a shout out. And Art Kuznets I met at B'nai Israel here in Petaluma. That's the Jewish synagogue. And he was the rabbi until he retired about, 3 or 4 years ago. And my wife and I, she was Jewish, and we went to a number of his night classes and Jewish holiday dinners that they put on at the synagogue. And I learned quite a bit about, I was a history major originally in my BA degree before I went into psychology. And I didn't learn very much about Israel or the Jewish people in my history studies, but I learned a lot in his night classes. And he knows I am not religious. In fact, he says I'm his favorite pagan, or what's another word for pagan? Doesn't matter. All the history of the founding of the Jewish state in 1948 and all of the things that led up to it. Anyway, we'll continue with this. Okay, down in Tiburon, Dennis and Megan, and over to Pacifica, Stan and Kathy, and down to L.A., Aunt Jackie and her daughters, Samantha's little boy. Samantha's a good teacher down in the L.A. area. And Melanie, I'm not sure what she's doing for work, but she lives in Austin, Texas now, and is having a ball down there. And Austin is a little blue dot of sanity amidst the red MAGA land of Texas. And up to Arkansas. Oh boy. I can't remember her name. I'm having a brain freeze, but it'll pop into my mind. Okay, and over to Florida, Nelson and Alice Lydell. He's a retired United States Public Health Service officer who ran tests on breathing apparatuses and breathing masks. He occasionally sends me ideas to talk about on my show. And then I mentioned Amelia Beamer over on the east side. Up to brain freeze when it comes. Dr. Dave Rubin in Raleigh-Durham. Geez, that's what I was trying to think of, where GlaxoSmithKline is headquartered. Okay, further on up the East Coast, Long Island, Geraldine Goldfinger, and back to the West Coast for the Sonora crowd. Robert Finnegan, Bob and Sandy Fisher, their two offspring, Martha and Brad, Darrell Larson, Judy May, Kathy Francis, and Lynn Quayle, who splits her time between Manhattan and Sonora. What a contrast that is. And I've gone into why she does that on previous shows. And then further up Highway 108 to Twain Harte is John Gleason and his two daughters, Tiffany Gleason and Jennifer Gleason. Tiffany is a professor of African Studies, and I'm not sure her college where she does her work. And Jennifer works for Wells Fargo Bank, and I'm not sure where either of them are living right now. And then all the way down in Mexico City, Rosamalia Lopez Negrete. She is not a big fan of Mexico's newly elected president, Sheinbaum, Claudia Sheinbaum. She claims wrongly that Claudia Sheinbaum is a communist. I think she's just being exaggerating in her feelings. Yeah, Claudia Sheinbaum is quite lefty. I would compare her to Bernie Sanders and AOC here in the United States. She's probably a socialist Democrat or Democrat socialist. Probably. She's never called herself that. But I'm all for Claudia Sheinbaum. She's already stood up to the orange sociopathic bloat bag, and it'll be interesting to see the relationship between these two countries develop. Whew, there's my shout outs. Yeah. Okay. There's a couple of things I want to put out to you. Trump's wish to control Greenland and the Panama Canal. This time, it's not a joke. This is an article out of the New York Times. Over the past 2 days, and this article is from about 2 weeks ago, over the past 2 days, President-elect Donald J. Trump. Why do they always have to add in the J? Why can't they just call him the orange sociopathic bloat bag like I do? Much simpler. Has made clear that he has designs for American territorial expansion, declaring that the United States has both security concerns and commercial interests that can be addressed by bringing... there was a message on my computer. I'll take care of that later. Okay. Commercial interests that can be addressed by bringing the Panama Canal, which Jimmy Carter, the late President Jimmy Carter, made a deal with the Panamanian government at that time during his administration for the American government to relinquish control of the Panama Canal in 1999 to Panama's control. Okay, good for Jimmy Carter. Okay, but anyway, here comes the orange sociopathic bloat bag. Our commercial and economic interests can both be addressed by bringing the Panama Canal or Greenland under American control or outright ownership. Mr. Trump's tone has had none of the trolling jocularity that surrounded his repeated suggestion in recent weeks that Canada should become the 51st state of America. Oh, and this includes his social media, Truth Social, that the country's beleaguered Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, should be the governor of the 51st state. And that was joking, kinda, in a way. Okay. While naming an ambassador to Denmark, which controls Greenland's foreign and defense affairs, Mr. Trump made clear on Sunday that his first term offer to buy the landmass could, in the next term, become a deal the Danes could not refuse. They've already refused it. He appears to covet Greenland for its strategic location at a time when the melting of Arctic ice is opening new commercial and naval competition, and for its reserves of rare earth minerals needed for advanced technology. Like I say, the Danish government has already refused that kind offer. I think we've elected in this country a mentally deficient, dare I say again, orange sociopathic bloat bag. Okay, another thing I wanted to go over with you before I really get started on my own notes is an article from the New York Times. Again, that's the only, periodical that I subscribe to. And I guess I will continue as long as they're, still readable. And, I don't read every section. Their food section on Wednesdays, their style section on Thursdays, I just toss them aside. Their Monday section on sports is worth it. Their Tuesday section on science is worth it. And then all the articles in the main section of the New York Times is worth it for the time being. Okay, all right. Ending decades of silence on abuse in Ireland's Catholic schools. They came forward in small groups at first, and then they spoke out in waves. Over the past 2 years, dozens of people, mostly men in their 50s and 60s, have reported being sexually abused at schools run by Catholic orders in Ireland. The start of religion, and again, I'm talking way, 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 way back to Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, probably the first religious type of construction in an early civilization about 7,000 or 8,000 years ago, was done by religious grifters for getting fed by the rest of the tribe without having to do any work, having their houses built for them by the remaining members of the tribe, and also controlling women, both for sexual purposes and even some men for sexual purposes. I believe that the grifters and the beginners of religion on this planet did it for those reasons. And they were smart enough, they were good talkers enough to convince the rest of their ignorant tribes people, hunter-gatherers, that there was this sky daddy that talked to them and said they should have the cooperation of the rest of the tribe members. Well, that's continued on today. The latest iteration of that is the Catholic Church, mainly, and other religions do the same thing. And I'm not sure whether the Catholic Church is the worst offenders, because certainly the Southern Baptist Convention has their own sexual problems with their pastors and lay leaders. The Seventh-day Adventists, the oh boy, I don't want to get into all of them, but I've done segments on other religions. Muhammad, who married, quote unquote, and consummated the marriage with a 9-year-old girl. That doesn't bode well for the other imams and mullahs, who are the equivalent of Joel Osteen in this country. Oh boy, I've gotten off the topic here. I'm reading this article from the New York Times. Okay. Their accounts, these guys that came forward, have reported being sexually abused at schools run by the Catholic orders in Ireland. Their accounts only hint at the magnitude of a national scandal, experts say. In September, and let's see, I'm reading this. This is an article from December 24th. The night before Christmas. December 24th, 2024. That's like 2 weeks ago. In September, a preliminary government inquiry identified almost 2,400 allegations of sexual abuse in religious schools between the 1960s and the 1990s. And it alleged there were 884 named abusers. Norma Foley, Ireland's Minister for Education, like right now, she's the Minister for Education. I lost my place. Said the scale of abuse was truly shocking. It's not shocking to me. That's how they are. And has ordered a full government investigation. Well, I hope they actually do it. I did a segment on the Magdalen laundries in Ireland. Oh, that was a horror show of places that pregnant girls went, unmarried pregnant girls went to work in these Catholic-run laundries where they made money, and quite often the girls would just die there after giving birth and giving their babies up for adoption or tossed aside somehow in these Magdalene laundries. Horrible, horrible Catholic practices. Okay, I won't read very much more of this article, but okay, Norma Foley wants an investigation. While Ireland has long grappled with the legacy of abuse within Catholic Church institutions, Magdalene laundries, the latest revelations shed light on how dozens of schools allegedly harbored serial abusers for decades. That's going on in this country. Priests are constantly being outed as abusing choir boys or, just church boys in general. And their bishops and Anyway, moving these abusers around to different dioceses. It's going on in this country. It's going on in every country that is enthralled with the Catholic Church. Thankfully, in this country, the membership in the Catholic Church is going down, as are all religions going down in membership. The fight for accountability has been led by a cohort of older men who are challenging taboos around sexual abuse, masculinity, and shame. Okay, I'm not going to read any more of this. It gives the names of these Irish guys in their 60s who have come forward to report on them. John Coulter, Corey McMahon. In Ireland, we just didn't talk about these things, says Michael O'Keefe. I was destroyed by it, by the reality of my childhood, Mark Vincent Healy said. Okay, enough of that. The cabinet picks of the orange sociopathic bloat bag right here. Kash Patel. He's been nominated to be the FBI director. All he wants to do is dismantle it because they investigate too much, especially the orange sociopathic bloat bag. Tulsi Gabbard has been nominated as Director of National Intelligence. She has a working relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia. I'm telling you, she's going to give up some of our national secrets to Vladimir Putin. I wouldn't trust her as far as I can throw her. The most unqualified is Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary. Oh my God, he was just a Fox News toady. I don't want to go into all the other things that are wrong with this turd, but he should not be confirmed by the Senate. Okay. I'm going to talk about this guy a lot later. Again, I've talked about him already a little bit. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who I call Wormbrain. He's been nominated to be the Health and Human Services Secretary. After January 20th, I feel bad for this country's future. I hope none of this comes to pass. I hope the Senate will do its job and really investigate these creeps. Okay? Oh, God, ranting is wearing me out. Okay, now to my own notes. Oh, boy. I'm running out of time. Great news. New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan has scheduled the orange sociopathic bloat bag sentencing for January 10th. That's 7 days from now. Okay, wait a minute. No, it's not. It's 4 days from now. Okay, my math needs work. Okay, and sentencing the felon, the orange sociopathic bloat bag, who was convicted of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to conceal his hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. He will not sentence him to jail time. However, there will be some sentence, probably a fine, maybe, I don't know, home confinement, I hope, in Mar-a-Lago, maybe an ankle bracelet. I don't know. But Judge Merchan has said he will not sentence him to prison. Okay, I hope that he gets something that he can't get out of. All right. Brief bad news. Bernie Moreno, who is a creep in Ohio, was sworn in by Vice President Kamala Harris today as Ohio's senator, as she swore in all of the new senators. His savage attack of her at the GOP convention and refused to pronounce her name correctly. That goes to show you how juvenile these Republicans are. It's not a difficult name to pronounce, but a lot of them, I'm sure you've heard them, said things like Kamala. They were trying to mispronounce her name on purpose. How juvenile. It shows you just how fourth and fifth grade level their brains work. And I don't mean to insult fourth and fifth graders by comparing them to Republicans. Okay, good news. Chicago city buildings now use 100% clean energy. Chicago GRIST, and which is a environmental organization whose newspaper I get online, and Radio WBEZ's reporters collaborated on this report. Chicago's more than 400 municipal buildings, fire stations, their 2 international airports, and water treatment plants and government buildings are now using Illinois' largest solar farm, 700,000 megawatts of electric power. Okay, good for Chicago. And it was started a couple of, Rahm Emanuel started this whole thing, and was carried on by, I can't remember their next mayor, or their current one for that matter. Sorry. Okay, nicotine, a drug that I just hate. As much as I hate the tobacco industries, big tobacco. Okay, nicotine now is being sold in little packets at gas stations and convenience stores. Zyn, Z-Y-N, comma. Okay, I'm going to have to spell this. This is another company. Capital O, exclamation point, Rogue, R-O-G-U-E, are the manufacturers of these things. Juicehead is another, and Vezo, capital V-E-Z-O, are the products manufactured by these horrible companies. They should be sold to people over 21, but, profits and profits and profits, and capitalism overall. According to the U.S. Center for Disease Control, they are second in sales to younger people, second only to vaping products. I've not seen these little packets of, I guess it's a powder of some sort. Oh boy, I got to get going here. Good news, Arnold Schwarzenegger, actor and ex-governor of California and Republican, is no fan of the orange sociopathic bloat bag, who chides Arnold for hosting The Apprentice in its last year for low ratings. The show was going in the dumps the last 2 years of the bloat bags hosting the show. Schwarzenegger has said the orange sociopathic bloat bag should dial back the Trump. Okay? Shoot. Okay, let me continue. Bad news. The orange sociopathic bloat bag has nominated Mark Burnett. He's from England, a TV producer who created The Apprentice show, that began in 2004 on NBC. Trump was mythologized on the show as an icon of American success. This image resonated with the MAGA base, with his ignorant MAGA base. I've heard a lot of, many of the MAGA jerks said they voted for him in 2016 because this country needs a good businessman to run it. The reality is that the orange sociopathic bloat bag did not pay those who helped build his real estate empire, and he used bankruptcy laws and legal loopholes for his purposes. Oh, he welched on paying his lawyers as well. The show ran from 2004 to 2017. The last year, 2017, Arnold Schwarzenegger hosted it. A spin-off in 2005, The Apprentice Martha Stewart, lasted 1 season. Okay, I've got to go play out music. You have been listening to The Midnight Skeptic on KPCA LP, Petaluma, California. And we're at 103.3 on the FM dial and worldwide at www.kpca.fm. Support community radio at patreon.com/Petaluma Community Access. And remember, think critically, think logically, but live joyously, and most importantly, pet your cats. I can't emphasize this enough. You've got to pet your cats, especially with January 20th looming in our collective futures. And that's it for another week. I will be back at you next week. Okay? Take care, everybody.